What's up, guys? So I have a unique opportunity here today. I have my buddy George here from SoCal. He's on his way back from, they just did a lot of wheeling out in Colorado, and they're heading home back to SoCal and decided to stop in Vegas. And so I wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys. He has a two-door Bronco on Werewolf Portals next to my 4th gen 4Runner on the Marlin Crawler kit. Both of us are running 38-inch tires. He's on the Falcon MTs, I'm on the Falcon RTs. But I just wanted to take this opportunity to show you guys kind of like the ride height difference between each vehicle. So my being 4-door SUV on, you know, a fairly aggressive kit that allows you to rock crawl really well, and then him on his 2-door Bronco with portals. He's got shocks and stuff in there as well, but let's check it out, and I'm gonna kind of give you some measurements and show you the difference, a little bit of what's going on with both of these vehicles and kind of why he has a little bit of an advantage with his setup. All right, so if you look here, see we have George's suspension. As you can tell, he is on stock lower control arms, and then also, so here's the portal box, it has a little support bracket as well. This is where George is getting majority of his lift. Now he does have the ride flow coilovers, 2.5s with resis on here, and as you can see, one big difference that, or one big benefit of what portals can provide you is look out how flat this lower control arm is. That is probably how it would come from factory. I don't think they lift them very much at all, but the flatness of this is what provides a lot of the longevity and benefit of portals, because as you can see, because the arm is flat, the tie rod is flat, and then the axle shafts are flat as well, and that's at ride height. So George will be able to afford a lot more down travel with this setup and get a lot more travel as well, especially in rock crawling. At this point, it looks like he's only got maybe like 2 inches of shaft showing. Wow! So that he can get for up travel, which is going to be great for rock crawling. So then majority of George's travel while driving is going to be down travel, which is what you want for rock crawling. Also, another big added benefit that most everyone boasts about for the portals are the fact that he gets a couple inches of lift here. I think it's like 3.3 or something like that. But a decent amount of lift, which allows you to run a bigger tire as well. So that's also the benefit without doing the suspension lift aspect of it, where you start to lose down travel and just travel in general, and sometimes even have to run a higher spring rate because of running a bigger tire and stuff like that. So, but this is a really good example and kind of shows you what he's got going on. Let's do this. So from the driveway to the bottom of his control arm, let's say 18 inches. Yeah, the bolt's a little bit lower, but I'm not going to count that. 18 inches essentially from bottom of the control arm. So that's quite a bit of clearance, you know, just from the lift itself with the tires. And the other thing too, the reason why portals are good is because before portals, tires were the only way to truly get ground clearance. So you had to go up in tire size in order to get this amount of ground clearance. But with portals, because you get the true ground clearance lift on those as well, you don't have to run as big of a tire. Some of you may have seen, there's like a photo around, I believe Portal Pros, it's from them, but they have an axle with a 40-inch tire on it, and then an axle with a portal and a 35, and it has the same amount of ground clearance. So this is why they work so well. You don't have to run as big of a tire, and that's why the Ford Performance Broncos run them too, is because in that 4600 class, you were only allowed to run a 35-inch tire. So that's why they run it, is because they essentially get the clearance of a 40. Now I will say that portals don't make up for a lack of tire size either. There are instances where you're rock crawling and you just need to get over an obstacle, like say just like a big rock. Well, sometimes that rock will be bigger than what your tire is, so you would still need to, like, if that obstacle requires a 40-inch tire, you still need a 40-inch tire, you know. So just wanted to point that out. I'm gonna come over here and we'll show you the difference with my Marlin Crawler kit on my Toyota. Okay, so here's my Marlin Crawler kit on my 4th gen 4Runner. As you can see, a little bit, for the most part, the lower control arm on here is fairly flat through this section, but then in the Marlin Crawler kit, to try and get more clearance in the rocks, they have this little drop area and then make it up with the spindle. So still going up to the upper control arm. But as you can tell, my RCV in there isn't completely flat. I would like to change that a little bit if I can. I wouldn't mind moving it up and just having to cut a little bit more. So I think I am going to make that change soon. But also, I mean, these are kind of both at the same angle. As you can see, it's limiting down travel a little bit because of that, because it is up a little bit higher. So I would prefer to have less up travel and more down travel, especially when rock crawling. It just seems to be the formula that works, and they, you know, build it into a lot of the solid axle cars. But here is clearance with mine on 38s. And as you can see, the Marlin Crawler does a really good, if I can get it in there, job at giving you clearance even without portals. And I am, what the heck? Let's go this way. And I am at just shy of 17, probably 16 3/4 inches off the ground. So, I mean, that's a really good. Granted, he does get, you know, another, what's that, full 1.25 or whatever. So it does make up the difference. It does make it a little bit taller, but you know, like I said, sometimes you just can't make up that difference without having tire size. And I mean, these are really beefy. So just something to consider depending on if you wanted to go portals, if you think it's worth it, or if you just wanted to do a high clearance rock crawling kit like this. Just kind of gives you the difference. So just wanted to show you guys that and give you the opportunity to check it out. The other added benefit that I wanted to give you guys for portals is that when you go to portals, you essentially create yourself a full float axle, regardless of where it's put. That reason being because the outside, the tires are driven by their own gear, and then most portals, there's either one or two stationary gears, and then another drive gear that's coming off of the axle. So because of that, you're taking the stress load off of the axle itself and putting it into the gears of the portal, creating a full float axle. So you can do that front or rear depending on how it's set up. Some trucks, especially like Dana 60s or something like that, or 14 bolts, might have already be full float, but you would still be doing that with the portal itself. It's the same concept. So that also makes whatever spline, I think these are typically 30 spline front axles, so that essentially makes it 35 spline or better when you put that on there. So you do pay a little bit more, but you do get an axle upgrade. I believe George is also running, he also has RCVs in there as well, so those are 300M, so it's hard to compare what that can go up to as far as like handling tire size or torque, but it does give you quite a bit bigger of a range of a tire to be able to run. So not only is the portal strong, not only does it give you lift, and then not only can you fit larger tire sizes on it, but it also gives you stronger axles. So you got to think about that $20,000 price tag, especially if you're going for a 74 weld, or I believe the Werewolves are like 14-ish. You got to think you're getting a lot more of an upgrade with those pieces than just having to be like mine where everything is essentially upgraded. So he didn't have to do the axles, he just did it for strength. We do a lot of hardcore trails, so just something to think about if you are considering buying portals. You do get that added benefit of full flow. Just wanted to let you guys get a little bit of a difference. Two different wheeling rigs, two different wheeling styles. Two-door, I don't know what the wheelbase is, but I know it's quite a bit shorter than my 110 on the 4Runner. And so George has quite a few videos. If you want to go check out his channel, he's got videos of both of us wheeling. He's got some on his Gladdy too. So thanks for hanging out. Glad you got to see two monsters.